section of the community and the county. Chapin Fire Rescue right now is looking at an upgrade in their service where they'll be able to get field upgrades to provide ALS into that region of the county also. So I think altogether as we transition, we're going to try to hold the impact to a minimum. But there again, that's 386 responses, that's 386 patients, that's 386 families. Any questions?
So I say Miracle Life Starter? Here for
That also is how many times or a percentage of the hazard paramedics responses that also got an ALS response from the city ambulance.
Are any of these the 386 in the city, or are they all external from the city?
The responses that PASMA made it within the city limits of Jacksonville last year, I believe, was one response.
What did you just mention a few minutes ago about 2019? What do you hope to accomplish by 2019?
As we go through our presentation here later this evening, the department has set down a preliminary goal of 2019 to start transitioning a portion of our area to an ALS response, upgraded from a BLS response. So tentatively right now we're looking at upgrading or transitioning the west side of Jacksonville first, just because of where that station is located in relation to where the other two private ambulance companies are located within the community. Try to cut down on the time that ALS or paramedics are on scene in an incident. We can do it a lot quicker if we transition that portion first. Thank you very much.
Thank you. City clerk's report.
3 years ago, we extended our contract for the electric supply for the city of Jacksonville, and that's not the aggregation, it's for the city of Jacksonville, for the buildings that we encompass. The company has come to us now and said that electric supply is at a very low, and our contract does not expire until September and October, depending on which account gets read during that period of time. And anyway, it's in our best interest, I believe, in looking at everything, to extend our contract effective when the contract expires. And that contract will actually drop. We recommend a 3-year contract extending in September and October. We're currently paying 4.78 cents per kilowatt hour. That is dropping to 4.16. So that's basically a little over ½ cent per kilowatt hour. That just extends our contract out for another 3 years. Again, that's for the buildings, the city municipal building, the water department buildings, all those buildings. So in looking at, we looked at 2 different companies, Home Field Energy, we've used them before, and Constellation, who are called Dynegy now. I got bids on both of those, and those bids are good on a daily basis. So what we're recommending today, or tonight, is to extend that for 3 years, beginning in September, at the 4.166, or lower if we can get it. Any questions? About every 3 years we do this.
Skip, are there any additional fees that the city would incur?
No, it's zero.
The flat rate.
Save money. And we use a lot of electric. Any other questions? That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Skip. Any public comment tonight? No, Jim Williams, you can't come up and talk, okay? You just stay back there. Any public comment at this time? Consent agenda items. Finance, IT, and personnel. Alderman Walker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. One item tonight, just city treasurer's report for January 31st, 2018.
And utility.
I'll take that as well.
Please.
Tonight, one item, Resolution authorizing payments from the Waterworks and Sewerage Project Fund for services rendered in improvement projects. I so move.
Is there a second under the consent agenda? Alderman Aaron Scott. Are there any? Let's go ahead. Oh, yeah, go back. All right, so we got 2 seconds. Is there any items you wish to pull for further discussion on the consent agenda? Seeing none, I'd ask the clerk, please call roll.
Hopkins,
Yes.
O'Donnell,
Yes.
Patterson,
Yes.
Aaron Scott,
Yes.
Wonk,
Yes.
Ormowski,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, is there, under Skip's report, back to the city clerk, there's a resolution of authorizing the electric service agreement. Is there a motion for that? Alderman Williams, second by Alderman Hopkins.
Be it resolved that the electrical service agreement with Constellation Energy Resources LLC is hereby approved.
Discussion? I would ask the clerk, please call roll.
O'Donnell,
Yes.
Patterson,
Yes.
Richardson, Aaron Scott,
Yes.
Wonk,
Yes.
Ormowski,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Hopkins,
Yes.
motion passes.
Committee reports tonight, finance, IT, and personnel. Alderman Wonk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. One item tonight, first reading of an ordinance making appropriations for corporate purposes for fiscal year 2018 for the city of Jacksonville, Morgan County, Illinois.
Okay, you read it. We have to pull that off the table, correct? Is, we need a motion, a second to bring that off the table from the last meeting. Is there a motion? Alderman Williams, second by Alderman Patterson to pull off the table. Voice vote?
Yes.
All those in favor of pulling the appropriation budget off the table from the previous meeting, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Now we have a motion by Alderman Wonk, and is there a second for this? Alderman Aaron Scott.
Be it ordained that the appropriation ordinance for the fiscal year 2018 for the city of Jacksonville in the amount of $44,364,211.46 is hereby approved.
Discussion. I would ask the clerk, please call roll.
Patterson,
Yes.
Richardson. God, I can't people all out here all the time. Aaron Scott,
Yes.
Wonk,
Yes.
Ormowski,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Hopkins,
Yes.
O'Donnell.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Very good. Planning and Public Works, Alderman Marge Oldham.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have one item, second reading of an ordinance amending the Jacksonville zoning map on property located at 1118-1104 West Walnut Street from B1 to B3.
Is there a second tonight? Alderman Hopkins.
Be it ordained that the Jacksonville zoning map is hereby amended, change zoning classification for property located at 1118 to 1124 West Walnut Street from B1 Neighborhood Business District to B3 Limited Business District.
Discussion. I would ask the clerk to please call roll.
Patterson,
Yes.
Aaron Scott,
Yes.
Wonk,
Yes.
Ormowski,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Hopkins,
Yes.
O'Donnell.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Very good. Public Protection, Alderman Williams.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have one, Jacksonville Fire Department promotional ceremony.
Those.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. As your fire chief, I'm extremely proud tonight to bring forward our members for recognition And I thank you for allowing us that opportunity. I'd also like to express my appreciation to the members of the department for showing up before us to support our fellow firefighters. Before I get into this, I would like to report to the city council tonight that at no other time can I remember in my career that we have had such a talented group of individuals on the department from every rank and every position. It is truly a pleasure and an honor to be their chief. These guys, they make me look good. They're out on the streets every day, day in, day out, doing their job, doing their best to protect this community and provide the services. But moving forward, we are transitioning and we are evolving to try to meet the needs of our community. And as we do so, we're also becoming more and more of a resource to those outlying communities that are having problems of their own with manu stations at certain periods of the day, mainly on the volunteer ranks. But as we strengthen our relationship with these agencies, some of those resources we're also able to utilize in our surrounding communities and within the city of Jacksonville. As we move through mutual aid agreements, automatic aid agreements, I think we're strengthening the public safety as a whole. This coming year will be a year of change for us as we strive to meet the goals we've set for ourselves. And I believe at the end of this year, you're going to see a dramatic change in how the fire department not only operates, but the services that we provide back to the community. One of the big things that we're holding out this year, and hopefully we'll be able to give back to the community, is we've applied for another AFG grant on communications. With all the other upgrades to our services, with the personnel, the aid agreements, communication center, if we get this communications grant, we are going to request that the ISO rating for the city of Jacksonville also be reevaluated. And I feel at that time you're going to see a significant change in the rating for the community. And this is something that will benefit everybody. It will benefit everybody from the homeowner to the business owner to the industrial areas. It'll also be just another piece of the puzzle that the city can utilize for economic development. Before we get going tonight, I'd like to introduce some of the newest members of the Jacksonville Fire Department. I want you to keep in mind as you look at these young men, it's quite a road and quite a commitment to get where they're at. This isn't something that they look at the one ads in the newspaper and they decide to one day apply for a fire job. These gentlemen have invested considerable amount of time, energy, schooling, meeting the qualifications needed just to test. And that is just to be able to have the opportunity to try to get on the fire department, not to mention what they have to go through to actually attain that job. Now, back in August of 2017, and if you would please stand when I read your name. In August of 2017, we hired Brett Brockhouse. Mr. Brockhouse was a replacement for firefighter Gary Knapp, who retired. Also in August of 2017, we hired Logan Griffin. He was a preload for a preemptive retirement of Lieutenant Don Stone. Thank you, Logan. Brett Brockhouse is assigned to Crew 1 with Captain Nyberg and Lieutenant Mike Martin. Logan Griffin is assigned to Crew 3 under Captain Griffiths and new Lieutenant Mike Hopper. In August of this coming year, I have no doubt that we will be swearing those gentlemen in as the newest permanent members of the Jacksonville Fire Department. They are extremely talented and extremely dedicated to their newfound profession. This last year, we undertook a recruitment process, and this was due in part to the additional qualifications for the paramedic license that we had established. This recruitment process started a year out with mailing of flyers from every department, every community college, that offered a fire science degree or an EMS degree. It's kind of funny with the widespread area that we did, that the gentlemen that we have hired are local kids, people that have ties to the community, and the same can be said with firefighter Griffin and firefighter Brockhouse. It seems like we are cultivating the local town. They're testing very well, they're very motivated, and they're very committed to their community. And I think it's probably the first time that the Jacksonville Fire Department has ever had 20% of our staff still in a probationary period. So it is a very young, evolving department. The next introductions I'd like to make to City Council tonight are a direct result of the AFG SAFER grant that we were awarded this last year. We had the period of performance started January 24th. We were fortunate working with the Board of Police Fire Commissioners that we were able to get the process and get those gentlemen on the department as quick as we could, as close to the period of performance started to minimize the financial impact on the grant. This, I know you've heard we talked about this for 3 years, and it's been a goal of ours to do this. I would like to thank you for your support on this. This, in my opinion, is the greatest advancement the fire department, to public safety and firefighter safety that we've seen since the substation opened back in the 1970s. So first off, I would like to introduce Nicholas Clement, Chase Davis, and Eric Fair. Those are our 3 new hires for the Jacksonville Fire Department afforded by the SAFER grant. All 3 of these gentlemen are in the academy and will begin the advanced firefighter, or the basic firefighter academy March 4th. They will be on shift, operational by mid-May. Thank you, gentlemen. Between the 3 of these guys, and this just blows my mind, and toot their horns a little bit, but between these 3 gentlemen, there are 3 bachelor's degrees, an associate degree, previous firefighting experience. One of them is actually a registered nurse who is undergoing a bridge course to become a field nurse, and all 3 of them have ties to the local community here. I'm extremely proud that we were able to cultivate that local talent there. The first promotion that I would like to recognize this evening, the driver engineer Scott Hudson, please step forward. Driver engineer Scott Hudson has 13 years experience with the Jacksonville Fire Department. He was hired in February of 2005. He holds certificates in advanced firefighter, fire apparatus engineer. He is also a rescue specialist in confined space, vertical rescue, and roadway rescue. Hazmat operations also. He is assigned to Crew 2 under Captain Kershaw and Lieutenant Leshner. He was promoted to driver engineer in February 2018. From the Office of the Fire Chief, Jacksonville Fire Department, be it known on this day, Sunday, February 11, 2018, Scott Hudson, having successfully passed and meeting all the requirements, has been selected for promotion by the Board of Police Fire Commissioners to the rank of driver engineer. Lieutenant Mike Hopper. Lieutenant Mike Hopper has 20 years experience with the Jacksonville Fire Department. He was hired in March of 1998. He holds certificates in advanced firefighter, fire apparatus engineer, rescue specialist, confined space, vertical and roadway, hazmat operations, and incident planning. Also, newly promoted Lieutenant Hopper is working towards his Fire Officer 1 certification currently. He was promoted in February of 2018. He is assigned to Crew 3, Captain Griffiths. With him tonight is his wife Karen, who will be obtaining and replacing his badge with the officer's badge. With this promotion, we're also going to ask that he reaffirm his oath to office. I want him to understand that the oath is not just a few words towards an indoctrination ritual. It is not a procedural checkbox. The words in an oath are not to be lightly taken. They are a commitment of service to others. They are a commitment to integrity, honor, and trust. So Mike, when you step up to the podium and raise your right hand in front of family, friends, and the community that puts trust in you, know the words you swear are a solemn commitment to all those you stand before. I would now ask that City Clerk Skip Bradshaw please read the oath and fire off.
Mike, would you please raise your hand and repeat after me, please? I, Mike Hopper,
I, Mike Hopper,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that as a member of the Jacksonville Fire Department,
and as a member of the Jacksonville Fire Department,
my fundamental duty
my fundamental duty
is to serve the people I swear to protect,
is to serve the people I swear to protect,
to safeguard
to safeguard,
and preserve life,
and preserve life,
health, and property
health, and property
against fire and other perils.
against fire and other perils.
As an officer, I will uphold the standards of my profession
As an officer, I will uphold the standards of my profession
and position.
and position.
I will lead my fire company to the best of my ability,
I will lead my fire company to the best of my ability,
with fairness and no prejudice.
with fairness and no prejudice.
I recognize the badge of my office
I recognize the badge of my office
as a symbol of public faith and trust,
as a symbol of public faith and trust.
and I accept so long as I am true
I accept so long as I am true
to the ethics of the fire service.
to the ethics of the fire service.
I accept this self-imposed
I accept this
and
self-imposed
self-enforced
and self-enforced
obligation
obligation
as my responsibility,
as my responsibility,
and make these promises solemnly,
and make these promises solemnly,
freely, and upon my honor.
freely, and upon my honor. Thank you, sir. We discussed it.
I will now ask that his wife Karen do the honor of replacing his department badge. From the Office of the Fire Chief, Jacksonville Fire Department, be it known that on this day, Sunday, February 11th, 2018, Michael Hopper, having successfully passed and meeting all requirements, has been selected for promotion by the Board of Police Fire Commissioners to the rank of lieutenant. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
That was impressive. Good job, Mike. Wow, what an oath. Is there any old business this evening? No old business? Any new business? Yes, Alderman Patch?
Today was the first meeting of the 12-person golf oversight committee. The group of 12 people was selected, They're all city leaders that have an interest in golf. They met, the purpose of the group is basically just kind of to give ideas to the pro and the city council about the different workings of the golf course and how we can make that where the money loss isn't so significant. This time, we just kind of gave them directions, plans that we had from them, and what the mayor wanted the committee to do. We'll get back to you guys in a few weeks when we decide how it's going to impact them and what commissions we need to do.
Good meeting today. Any other new business tonight? Okay. Chief Sills is buying dinner for everyone. Meet at Leo's and, right, Chief? All right. That's good.
Are you scared?
Nah.
I'm gonna need to check.
Okay, well, I guess Marcy and I are on our way to Rochester for regional basketball, so we gotta get out of here, right? Good meeting. Mr. Williams, do you have anything to say?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion, we adjourn.
Is there a second tonight? Alderman Marginal Middle? We are adjourned. Thank you.